Hello, this is Scott from pray5.org. That's Pray, the number 5.org. Please visit the site and let us know what you think. Just go down to the contact box, send us an email, let us know if we can improve the site and what you think. The site is free, there's no charge, and no information is sent to us. We don't want your information because we don't like spam any more than you do. The site is an easy, simple site to go to that you can search things like tribulation or rapture or divorce or just whatever. There's several different subjects on there, many subjects, and videos, which is a copy of a URL to YouTube, and you can watch those free of charge. Okay, as a pastor, I get asked a lot of questions. It's my day off, so therefore figured I would make this because I get asked questions this way through social media. I can talk to several people at one time that are asking me questions, and maybe this will help. I get asked on everything from, especially now, study of the end times, as far as what about the rapture, the tribulation, the Antichrist? Does the Bible speak about him in the Old Testament? Yes, he does. He's spoken of then, he's spoken of in the New Testament. All that is on the website. Just again, go to the contents box, do the drop down, and go to rapture/tribulation. Another subject I get asked on every once in a while is about my personal beliefs. Okay, this is me, my personal beliefs as a citizen, as a private citizen. I have, like, when I vote, I don't believe in either candidate completely. I believe in one candidate more than I do the other, but I'm not going to go into which one on this post. What I am going to say is that I must vote according to conscience, like most people do, according to what does Scripture say. How do I vote? And that would be, well, the first thing is Jesus told us to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Our neighbor is not just the guy next door or the woman next door. It's anybody. Doesn't matter what, male, female, black, white, didn't matter what color your skin or where you live. We are to love our neighbor, even our enemies. And he's very specific on this. Okay. The question is, and this is going to be uncomfortable for some. They say, well, this is going to be a political issue, is the unborn child, because that's what they are. They're not a product of conception. That's just a way of someone who wants to get rid of a human being and not feel bad about it. That's a human being in the womb. You say, well, how do you know that? That's a political issue. No, it's not. Here's why. God said in his scripture, he says, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. You. That's a pronoun. It's not saying I knew you after you were born. Because if that was the case where your soul wasn't in your body at conception, then he would have changed that. He would have said, well, like, for instance, I do know of one pastor who would teach that the soul didn't enter the body until the first breath. And that's completely against Scripture. That doesn't exist. I did the research on it. It does say, again, God says, I knew you before the creation of the world. I knew you in your mother's womb. And also, some of the other proof we have in the New Testament is when the earthly mother of Jesus, when he came in human form, when God put on sinful flesh, the image of sinful flesh, when Mary was approaching her cousin Elizabeth, who was pregnant by 6 months, when Mary came close to Elizabeth, it says twice that the baby leaped in her womb. The second time it said the baby leaped with joy. This is a human emotion. If there's no soul, there's nothing driving this machine in the womb. If that little baby doesn't have a soul, then how can they have joy? That's an emotion for humans. So therefore, that wouldn't have been in the Scriptures. It would have been something else. So therefore, the Old Testament and the New Testament both say that child in the womb is that way. What our secular society tells us is that it's only a human being if it's convenient. We will have, if I was to go out and do the same thing with puppies before they were born, I would have the animal rights activists coming after us and saying how cruel it is. I love animals. I'm just using this as a point. If I was to do this to any other kind of any animal, they would people would go crazy. I'm talking about doing this to a human being, and then they say it's a political issue. And I've heard the argument, my body, my choice. You have your own body. The body that's inside your womb, God says, is a human being with a soul from conception. So, why is this important? Most of you are already, the ones that disagree with this have already clicked off. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the one who's looking at it now going, well, I'm trying to make up my mind. If you've committed abortion, if you've gone and had your child terminated, is there forgiveness? Yeah. Yeah. When Christ died on the cross, Christ, who is God, died on the cross, he died for all sin, not just for the ones he liked or said wasn't too bad. So therefore, that is also forgivable. Just like if somebody went out and as an adult and went out and robbed a store and murdered the clerk, there's still forgiveness. That's a turning away from your sin. So can you be forgiven? Yes, he most definitely. It's a sin. Can you be forgiven for adultery and murders in there and blasphemy and lying and so on and so forth? That's why Christ came to the earth for, so that we could be forgiven, to find a way to him. He provided the way to him to be saved. But again, back to the way I vote. I vote for someone who believes in loving their neighbor. I don't care about all the other, I do, but as far as, my economic policies and all that, yeah, that's important to me also. And I listen and I study and look at their records. That's not what I'm after. I'm after, what do they say about human life? If they say, that's a political issue and we're going to go ahead and continue to not only agree with abortion, but allow them to take the life of the child after it's born and then sell the body parts, that's murder. No one would think about taking the life of a toddler. There's no difference in the eyes of God. So you're saying, I disagree with you. Well, then show me, please. I've got the email on my website. Please show me in scripture where God says it's okay to take an innocent human life, whether they be 10 minutes old or 100 years old. It doesn't exist in scripture. Here's the thing. If you're ignoring this and saying, I don't agree with it, I'm going to vote the way I want to. There is a time that you're going to have to answer for that. You say, what's the big deal? I've never committed these things. I've never committed murder. I've never done an abortion. I've never cheated on my spouse, whatever. But if we're supporting anybody who agrees with this and pushes this policy through, same. It's just like if I'm standing on the corner being a watch out for the police while my buddy's robbing the store or shoplifting, I'm just as guilty. So, again, this is unpleasant. I know I'm going to get some mail from this. That's okay. I would rather tell the truth than to lie, which we have enough of that as it is. Again, I don't agree with all the policies of either side. But the number one thing is, what about pro-life? The life of a human being. If you don't even protect that, then that means you probably don't care. You don't care about anybody else. Agree or disagree? Look it up in scripture in the Bible. If you're an unbeliever, obviously you've already clicked off this probably. But if you're claiming to be Christian and you say it's okay to commit murder and that God's okay with that, is he also okay with you committing adultery? Is he also okay with you stealing and lying and using his name as blasphemy? You're saying there's a difference. God says no. There is a price to pay. This is Scott from Pray 5. Please think about it.